Now, cutting off Don's legs, does that make you feel taller?
I'm trying to get over 5'7".
Has Disco stolen that from me yet? He used to steal that line from me all the time. He'd go, because I used to say it to him, and then he realized what a great line it is. He goes, why do you have to cut my legs? So I'd go, why do you have to cut my legs off to make yourself feel taller? And then he pilfered it. And so I wonder if he's been using that on since I don't listen to him. He's been banned from our podcast, actually.
Probably a good move.
Yeah, Jericho sent the mandate down from the top that Disco is, because I was actually going to have Disco on the show, and Jericho goes, no, there is far too much disco in the network. Yeah. No more disco.
Listen, this is a full shoot. When he came on our show, and he made an ass of himself, of course, because me getting into an intellectual debate with Disco is like going squirrel hunting with a howitzer. It was the lowest rated. Like, we actually lost 72,000 listeners for the 20 minutes it's on. We did. When I went on Conan's show, and Conan will back this up, it was one of the highest rated shows they've ever had. So it just, you know what? I mean,
did you bury Disco to bury him, or did you bury Disco just so you could tell a story putting yourself over?
A lot of people think that I'm doing it as an angle, and it's like you do an angle. I would do an angle with you. I would do an angle with Conan. You do an angle with people you can draw money with. Disco has never drawn a dime in his career. You can't draw money with Disco. There's no upside to any of this. He's just super, super annoying, and doesn't.
I happen to like him. Like, I happen to like his sense of humor. So he makes me laugh like hysterically. But yeah, he's an acquired taste. I mean, it has to be in your wheelhouse. But did you really lose 72,000 listeners?
Yeah, absolutely, because people find him annoying.
Lance, is that true?
Yeah, I'm not. That's the facts.
You get to download segment or just for the whole show?
Lance breaks it down because he's OCD, so that's how we know. And we double checked it with Podcast One. That's why Disco can't come on our show anymore. It's not because there's too much disco. It's because it killed our ratings. So for now, he still has his job with Conan.
Stan Lane had the greatest line ever. He goes, Disco, you couldn't draw a breath.
Were you there when Arn Anderson paintbrushed Disco in the dressing room?
No, it wasn't in the dressing room. It was in the bus. We'd been up all night on I think a charter flight and or something. Yeah, and Arn was hammered beyond hammered, and we were on the rental car bus, and and then and Disco didn't even say anything. Disco actually wasn't even being insulting, but Arn was just really out of it, and Arn smacked him, and it was really like it was an awkward moment.
I can understand the impetus, though.
Yeah, a lot of people can.
All right.
See, because when I look at Disco, like some people, and I love Scotty, but some people found Scotty annoying as well. But the difference is Scotty was really good. But Scotty was really good. Disco was the shits. So there's not a lot of wiggle room.
Asshole. I was a complete asshole. I mean, I was so insecure most of my life and so to hide it, I was just egotistical. Anybody who's egotistical is insecure. I mean, that's as simple psychology 101 as there possibly is. And so that's why I was so braggadocious, was because I was so insecure. You know, I figured it's called the looking glass self. I figured if I can convince other people that I'm good, then maybe they'll convince me. And it's insidious, and it's and how it's all because it's a long story, which I'll eventually tell. But I mean, I told 1,000,000 times. I just don't feel like going into it now. But long story short is, once you become insecure, it's so hard to fulfill that hole that's making you feel that way. But luckily, I have.
Well, hopefully we've helped to fill your hole today.
Yes, and it was an exit only before.